next?
The Wrap is reporting that director Seth Gordon has left the Uncharted video game movie adaptation. Uncharted is a hugely popular video game franchise that centers around treasure hunter Nathan Drake and his fortune-seeking adventures. According to The Wrap, new Sony studio head Tom Rothman wanted to take the project in a new direction, which led to Gordon leaving the project. The adaptation has gone through many screenwriters, and even Oscar-nominated director David O. Russell was attached at one point. Christian, what do you think about Seth Gordon leaving Uncharted?
I like it. I like that he's leaving. I think it's a good move, and I think that I don't know what the new Sony head's doing. We'll find out if this is a good move, but was not a huge fan of Identity Thief. Actually hated it. Horrible Bosses 1 was okay, and Four Christmases was garbage. So
yes, it was
garbage.
Yes, it was.
So the fact that they were bringing in a new take, and from this guy's history, I don't know what the real scenario is. I'm just make up ones in my head. But what I'm thinking is, as far as, because Nathan Drake does have a comedy background from what we've seen in the video games, is that we're going to get too heavy on the comedy here when it needs to be an Indiana Jones type movie with a lot of sense of humor in it. So I'm okay with him leaving, because I was never a big fan of him being brought on as director. So let's see who they bring in next, and then we can start speculating if we like that or not next.
Mark,
was that the face that the Sony chief made when he heard that he was doing the movie?
Yeah.
It's not a winning smile necessarily. Yeah, sure. I mean, I think they hire him because the same reason that because they're going after the Russo brothers model, because those guys came from a comedy background too, and now they can make an action movie. So maybe this would work for him, especially when you have a lead character who has a lot of one-liners, a lot of quips. But I agree with Christian. The track record just simply isn't good enough. I really enjoyed Horrible Bosses. I thought it had more potential than it showed. And you're right, Four Christmases was like, it's not just a bad movie. That was like a horrible theater. That might have ruined my entire December. There was a cloud over it, and it was because of Four Christmases. So yeah, I think this is the right call. And I like when somebody who comes in to a new situation is like, you know what, I see that we have these people in place, but I don't like that. Uncharted is a huge property. It could be mammoth for Sony and video game films in general. So if you don't believe in this guy 100%, it's time to find somebody new.
what's the deal with all these big video game franchises having trouble getting off the ground? We had Halo, BioShock, Mass Effect, and then Assassin's Creed. We're hoping to see, eventually. I mean, we do have Warcraft next year, which hopefully will be really good. But yeah, all these big video game franchises for now are having a lot of trouble, even if they're the big ones.
You know why that is, though? Because people are scared to death, because everyone's talking about how it could be the next big boom, like comic book movies. And
I think it will be.
And that's why everyone's like, let's see what Warcraft does.
Once we get a movie made,
Yeah, because Uncharted, you can't screw up Uncharted. And I think this new guy at Sony knows that. Amy Pascal didn't have the best track record with franchises over the last couple of years. Brings this guy in, and now we need to make sure that these video game movies work if you want to further the genre. And look, he might have done a great job. I don't know, but like Mark said too, with track record, let's put somebody else in.
Especially with fans of video games being so fervent and the way that they can complain about stuff online. You need to knock it out of the park, or else you're going to hear about it even a lot more than you did when somebody made Tomb Raider, and certainly in the 90s when they made horrible movies like Super Mario Brothers or Mortal Kombat Annihilation. We all know the first Mortal Kombat was
awesome.
An Oscar-winning film.
Yeah, that was
but
awesome.
The second one, horrendous.
Well, for the director, I mean, it's a tough act to follow. He was supposed to. David O. Russell was supposed to direct it, and he doesn't have the pedigree that David O. Russell does. Though David O. Russell wanted Mark Wahlberg as Nathan Drake, and then I think someone had asked him on the red carpet, "Oh, what about Nathan Fillion?" And he's like, "Who?" He had no idea who it was,
and he punched him in the face.
But I would have liked to see Nathan Fillion and David O. Russell do this movie, but.
Fillion's a little too old, though, at this point.
Yeah, at this point. He's too old for a lot of stuff that originally they could have cast him in. But
I know that the name's floated out there, but if Chris Pratt fits anything, it's Nathan Drake. I mean, he is Nathan Drake. If you look, everything that he does is Nathan Drake.
You're right, but if you're Chris Pratt and you're given the choice to do Indiana Jones versus Uncharted, I think you got to go with Jones.
I don't know though. Would you though? Because if you think about it, because Nathan Drake hasn't been proven on screen yet, as where those shoes are so big to fill as Indiana Jones. Even though yes, it's an iconic character, you have the possibility as Chris Pratt to turn Nathan Drake into an iconic character, not just in the video game world, but into cinema. I think that's attractive for a guy of Chris Pratt's status now, who now has the biggest opening weekend of all time. But that also might hurt him in the fact that, that's just the dinosaur guy now as opposed to Nathan Drake.
Hey, that guy that trained raptors in the video game movie.